Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this lesson is about all the reading passages you may encounter on the high school exit exam and the types of questions that you'll be seeing. This handout will be very useful for you to study, just like the green sheet and the genre cheat sheet study guide, at least the few days before the high school exit exam. So I'm going to walk you through this lesson. You should have this handout in front of you. And I know it may be hard to see on the video, so that's why you have a copy in front of you. I will do my best to maximize the questions. So first and foremost, I want to focus on these first 4 questions. These are the types of questions that you'll be seeing most often. What is the narrator's main purpose in this passage? Which best describes the author's tone in the blank of the passage? What is the main purpose of this passage? Okay, just looking at those 3 questions. Any type of question that is a purpose question requires you to actually have read the entire passage so that you can understand what the author's purpose is. Just by reading the introduction or the conclusion, you will not fully be able to answer these type of questions. I call these type of questions synthesis questions. Those are the hardest type of questions because they require you to have understood fully the entire passage. So what's good to know is that if you see one of these type of questions that asks, what is the author's tone? What is the author's purpose? You know in your heart you have to read the entire passage very carefully. Okay, then you have types of questions like, which of the following is the main theme? Which one of the following themes is developed in the article? Which sentence from the document best summarizes the author's main point? Any question about purpose, tone, theme, main idea, main message, main point, those require you to have read the entire passage and understood it so you can understand what the theme and message and purpose and tone is. Then there are other types of questions, easier questions I like to say, like these next 3. The words blank in paragraph blank suggest a feeling of blank. Well, that's going to call you to a specific part of a paragraph, not necessarily having to read the entire article, but just that paragraph to look for the answer. Let's look at the next one. The author uses the word blank to describe blank or to suggest blank. Again, these questions are asking about specific words in specific sentences in specific paragraphs. So unlike the first few about message and theme and main idea, these questions just ask you to go right back to that specific spot to find the answer. That means that these questions are right there in the text, and you don't have to read as much to figure them out. They're much easier than the above questions. So just knowing the difference between the types of questions will help you in your strategies at taking the test and answering the literary response questions. So what I want you to do right now is go through this whole list, and any questions that are synthesis questions that require you to have read the entire passage and understood the author's tone, theme, main idea, message, all of those types of questions, those are synthesis questions. I want you to put a check in the box next to all the questions that are synthesis questions. And I want you to write next to that question, synthesis, because that requires you to synthesize all the information in the passage to come up with the most accurate answer. And then the ones that don't have checks in the boxes, those are the ones that you can answer very quickly, oftentimes before even having read the passage. So if you follow the strategy where you always go to the questions first, you try to answer the questions that you can answer first. Then, the ones that are synthesis questions, you go back and read the entire passage, looking for the answers of main idea, theme, tone, author's message. author's purpose. These strategies will help you make it easier for you to answer the response to literature questions on the high school exit exam. So once again, I want you to go through the list, check off all of the synthesis questions, the ones that will require you to have read the entire passage in depth, and then write the word synthesis next to those type of questions. It would even be great if you could highlight the words like theme, tone, author's purpose, main idea, and that way you know for sure which ones you have to spend more time on. The other ones that are not synthesis questions, the ones that say the word blank in paragraph 5 suggests a feeling of blank, those ones will be easier to answer and you can answer much faster. So spend some time on this worksheet really getting familiar with the types of sentences and types of questions that will be asked on the high school exit exam. This exercise should help you figure out your personal strategies for taking the exam.